When I think thoughts that feel good at the time, I tend to find that after a while they sort of lose their impact. And so I'm not able to create like the brain pathways very deeply for that thought in my head. If I was to keep, say, repeating that thought over, say, a couple months or whatever, because it just seems to lose its um yeah, its impact. So, are you able to explain what that's about?
What you're describing is actually pretty natural. In a spiritual sense, our growth often relies on fresh, evolving insight. When a thought initially feels good, it's like a spark that resonates with where you are at that moment. But as you integrate that insight into your being, you evolve past it, so it naturally loses some of its power. In other words, your soul keeps calling you to new layers of understanding. If we tried to hold on to the same thought forever, it would be like clinging to one chapter of a book without turning the page. So it's okay that a thought's impact fades, because that's a sign you're ready to explore new, deeper layers of your journey.
Okay, it seems to have a cyclical kind of nature though, where I come around back to those thoughts having impact again, and then the impact disappears again. So it seems to carry a cyclical nature. So I don't know whether that's following the moon cycles or what that's about.
It's a beautiful observation. In many spiritual traditions, we see life as cyclical, like seasons, phases of the moon, or the spiral nature of growth. You might revisit a familiar thought or insight, but each time you do, you're likely seeing it from a slightly different level of awareness. So even when it feels repetitive, you're growing. Whether it's connected to something as tangible as the moon's phases, or just the natural rhythm of your own soul's evolution, it's okay. Each cycle brings a new depth. So if those thoughts come back around, it might have something new to show you each time.
Okay, thanks. And then, I mean, there's so many
Really cool.
thoughts that feel good or fulfilling when you think them, or feel soothing to release resistance and comforting. So, I mean, there's so many thoughts, it's hard to sometimes know which ones to like latch onto. And because I don't latch onto any particular thoughts for very long, even though they might be really general, I'm not getting the habit pathways in my brain. So those thoughts just aren't becoming habit, whereas I'd like them to become habit. So when I'm out and about, I've got much easier access to certain thoughts. So can you give me, and I tend to stick with some thoughts for a little while, but then I think, oh no, it just loses its juice. So then I just swap to another thought before it becomes a habit. Whereas I should probably persevere,
It's,
because those habits are still really, it's not like my soul's evolving past them, because they're very general, like sort of thoughts in a positive or soothing way.
I get what you mean. In that case, think of it less like forcing a single thought and more like building a practice of returning to a familiar grounding. Even a general soothing thought can become a habit if you gently reintroduce it over time, like a touch point. If one thought loses its spark, it's okay. You can still come back to a core feeling, like trust or peace. Let that be your stable anchor.
So how do I know what thought would be best for me to build as habits over months so I can just go to them so easily in my everyday life?
The key is consistency with gentleness. Pick one or two core thoughts that feel universally grounding. Something like I trust my cat, or I am enough in this moment. Instead of forcing them, gently revisit them daily, maybe through a morning reminder or a brief reflection. Over weeks, they'll naturally become more accessible. The habit grows from gentle repetition, not from forcing intensity, so let it be easy and steady.
Okay, thanks. Have you got any examples of some really general, thoughts that you think are really have um, a lot of
Sure, here are a
bang
few.
for their buck, I guess, like that, like positive general ones, and also some soothing of resistance general ones that are generally overall found to be really good for people to bring into their daily life, like in a habitual way.
Absolutely. Here are a couple of positive and soothing ones many people find helpful. I trust that I'm growing at the right pace. Or it's okay to feel what I feel and I can move through it gently. These kinds of thoughts are broad yet grounding, helping you return to them often, no matter what's going on.
Okay, thank you.